Okay, thank you. I don't know where to start, but if you guys have any questions anytime during the thing, you can fire them out, although I can't see you anymore. I'm just going to start showing stuff, because if you want to know what I'm doing, this is all I do, all my life, is do this stuff, and I really enjoy it. So I'm going to start out with a clip from a film. Has anybody ever been to Portland, Oregon? You know all the homeless kids in Portland, Oregon that sleep in the park? Well, this is a documentary I did about homeless kids in Portland and how a woman who is looking out for them and tries to help them get back on their feet, get jobs, get apartments and stuff like that. And she does it through the art of circus. And she was a circus performer, and you won't see this part. And she had gone to the top of circus and was not happy, still had some problems. She tried to kill herself, wasn't successful. And then when she came back, went through some therapy, she said, I need to help somebody else, so she's going to help these kids. So she's dedicated her life to helping kids that need a little help. So we'll watch a clip, like 5 minutes or so. Hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, we'll get out early.
So we don't tell them, you have to do this, you have to do this. We tell them, this is what it takes to train, and then they have to make the choice. I don't think being in a program because it was going to make them more mature or create growth would be as attractive as being in the circus. But to be in the circus and to be good at the circus, you have to be really good at self-care. You have to get enough sleep, you have to eat right. You can't be doing drugs. And hopefully they discover that by themselves. If they don't, they're not right for the intensive training company.
I'm Taylor. I'm 18. I'm the baby of the training company. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I do the tissue, otherwise known as aerial silks. I've taken instruction on the trapeze and the hoop as well.
My name is Charlotte Ives. I'm from New York, Rochester. Ra-cha-cha. When I get up on a trapeze, it's really funny sounding, but for me it's really grounding, even though I'm not on the ground at all. I don't even have room to think. I have to be focused and I have to be there at that moment or else I might fall off.
I'm Maggie. I was born in San Francisco. The flying trapeze. That was the most amazing feeling I ever had.
I am Josiah, born and raised in South Carolina. Getting on a trapeze and swinging around, just the simplicity of that's a lot of fun.
The expectations are really incredibly very high. We're not just saying, let's make an empowering program for you and let's do a recital for the community. We're trying to turn these kids into professional circus artists in less than a year. And I think having really high expectations has been one of the reasons this program is so successful. You know, they strive higher when the expectations are higher, and why shouldn't they be?
This is a year of hard work, like physically and mentally, and especially with the transition that we're coming from. And nobody can understand the transition that we're coming from unless they've been there.
This street is a hard place to be. It's a very rocky road.
It's a really helpless situation. Nobody wants to feel like they can't help and provide for themselves. It was on a bright March morning.
These kids have had some issues in their life, and they have some challenges. Living on the streets is not fun. It's a really difficult life, and so for a kid to make that choice that living on the streets is better than living in their family's home is an indication of the severity of that situation.
And all strangers were no friends to me.
I had 2 tarps and a sleeping bag in my backpack. I've walked a lot of highway. I've done a lot of living under a lot of bridges. I spent maybe 2 months under here. Got woken up a few mornings by folks I didn't really want to see.
The cops come by 8 o'clock.
Time to get up! But that happens anywhere if you're homeless.
I was waking up just angry where I was, and I was like, I'm so much better than this. I have so much potential, and I'm waking up underneath a bridge in the rain.
Oh girl, my money here is no good.
You can sit on the side of a road and beg for change.
You know, it's like, spare change, spare change, spare change.
You might get $1 the whole day of sitting 8 hours out on a street corner, watching people mill around you and just being ignored, like you're not even there because you're something so alien to them but they just don't understand how you could possibly do that.
My dignity was really shattered, and I felt like I was a total failure.
But we never turn a stranger out.
I spent a lot of the time in this park just doing what I could to, make money and get by. I had to do things to support myself, to eat, and I didn't want to beg.
We would dumpster. We would, dig it in the trash for food. And so I'd be eating day-old meat.
I was so angry, just feeling like I got to a place where I was accepting just like the lowest form of life.
When you're homeless, there's that sort of mindset of like there is no future, and to numb that, you ingest a lot of drugs and you drink a lot of alcohol.
I mostly just began drinking in an attempt to connect with my peers around me and to try to find something that I wasn't finding.
And I got in a lot of trouble for that, and it was going on for a long time, and I kind of got myself in too deep because I felt like I was changing the world, but I was just a deadbeat.
And then I was just killing myself really slowly.
There's a lot of love in the circus, there's a lot of care and a lot of support, and circus has always been really a family. So I think the fact that they have somewhere to come where they are accepted as who they are and that they're held in a community is a really strong pull for these kids.
Homeless kids, it's a really big deal in Portland. There's tons of homeless kids that flock here, and I guess I'm one of them, but they need to realize that they're not just homeless kids. They're people too.
Okay. All right. Questions, comments, we can talk. But that's really fun stuff. I really enjoy doing it. I spent my first part of my career doing stuff with artists, like that guy right there. And I really enjoyed hanging out with artists and the way artists look at the world. And then I started doing stuff with action sports people. And they were fun. Some of them are a little selfish. And now lately I've been doing a lot of stuff like that, just giant-hearted people that have dedicated their lives to helping other people. And it feels like my work has a purpose. And like I said, I enjoy doing all of it, but this is kind of the phase I'm going through right now, is a lot of these big-hearted people. And in fact, I'll show you some of my last stuff just for the fun of it. Okay, this one's pretty hip. You're gonna love this. This was inspired by, I grew up around Los Angeles, and I had one friend of mine who never wore underwear. And then I also went to Idaho to school, and there was all these ranchers, and this is what they inspired. This was inspired by people like this. This was during my sports time. So, from a true story, Phil Herbst never wore underwear. He always had his surf trunks on, in case he wanted to go to the beach. So, is there any questions or anything yet? Okay. Well, we'll see what we're going to do here then. Let me think. Let me look at my notes. When I used to give little lectures about this documentary thing, I would always ask people, what do you think about documentary? And the first thing we would get to, I won't ask you because it'll, everybody said they were boring and they were the truth. And I don't think any of them are it's the truth. They're not the truth. They're whatever the filmmaker decides to tell you. That's one thing you have to realize about documentary. And there could be farther from the truth. When people believe it's the truth, that's, I guess. And then also boring. I don't think they're boring. I think it can be really fun. So, trying to think. Anybody questions?
What lenses do you use? Do you use a DSLR?
Yeah, I use all Canon. I use still camera stuff, yeah. And that's interesting because in the past I used to work with bigger film crews. And now, because of modern stuff, like that circus thing you saw, there was only really 3 of us on the entire crew, a producer that helped do audio sometimes and 2 cameras, and we did everything that way. But I've also done a lot of stuff completely alone. But in the past, they were been on crews where they're a little bigger. But everything is getting small, and you have to do everything yourself. But there's a lot of opportunities, tons of opportunities. And everybody I know that's interested in documentary filmmaking seems to be working right now. So that's exciting, I think. So, Oh, that's interesting. I was interested in documentary filmmaking, or in filmmaking as a kid, and photography, but I didn't think I could do it. I had to go to college and do something serious. And then I just get to a point where I said, I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do. And from that day forward, I just charged forward and have had ups and downs, and made it work. But I've been doing it since '89 is when I changed my major in college, and been doing it since then. So I've done all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I did the sports stuff, the commercials, the documentaries, and I've also done some behind-the-scenes stuff. Here, I'll show you this. This is kind of fun. These are really kind of low-res copies, but this was really fun. And actually, this is a guy that Jared Hess went to BYU, and he's he did Napoleon Dynamite, and he's such a great guy, and he's had such a big heart. This was in shooting in Mexico, and I've never seen somebody respect his crew so well. And that in the old days, the Hollywood people were really mean and ornery and ego crazy guys. Jared was so respectful, and so this is what we did in Mexico. And I was invited the day before they shot to go down to Mexico and shoot behind-the-scenes documentary stuff with this. And this is just a light, fluffy piece.
Like this? Or like this?
Like that. Here, like that.
Right, let's shoot it.
Okay, fine. Camera is ready.
Here we go.
Okay, cámara lista. Ahora es ready.
No vemos su cinturón, entonces. ¿No lo vemos? Sí. Sí,
You're not gonna put el huevo, eh?
see the belt? See it now.
Yeah. Camera's coming down.
And if you don't think I'm a good actor, just know this. The egg is actually delicious. It's some pudding and some maple syrup. I could drink a gallon of it. You watch the movie and check it out. It doesn't look like it tastes good then. Acting.
Okay, so that's been fun doing that stuff. It's just really, we do a bunch of interviews and just hang out on set and eat lots of food, but are kind of free from the Hollywood movie making because it can get long and tedious and it's long hours, and I don't really enjoy it working on dramatic films that much, although I've done a little bit to pay the bills over the years. In fact, here's another one. I'm going to play you one more short one. This was for a little web thing that we did with Jared Hess, and it's just so whatever.
Hi, I'm Jared Hess,
Yes, and I'm Sam Rockwell.
and you're watching Gentleman Bronco videos.
Welcome.
Dude, this is horrible.
I'm Jared.
We should do it like where he's small.
Okay,
Yeah,
talk
let's do
real
that.
loud. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
let's
do
do
it. Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Jared Hess.
And I'm Sam Rockwell.
Hi, Sam.
Hello, Jared.
Jump on my hand. I'm gonna crush you now.
No, don't!
Release.
Yeah,
for more
Are you
crap
still
like
filming?
that.
For more crap like that, get on the, what's it called? World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Whatever. Google it. I don't care.
So that's just silly fun. They're really fun to work on, and they sometimes pay you decent, so I'm happy about that. So, any other questions as we roll through this? Oh, same.
Like a go-to lens for your DSLR to shoot with, like, all the time.
24 to 105. 24 to 105 on a still camera is the thing I use for 99% of all my documentary work. which will bring up another documentary question. Okay, I'm going to make you watch this then. It was all the stuff I shot was with that lens. I use still cameras now for all my video work for professional TV stuff, which is I never saw that coming. Here is a film about a guy who was a drug addict, almost killed himself. To rehab himself, to get back on track, he got involved with sports, cycling, rock climbing, ice climbing. And he got such a charge out of it, and it was such a good thing to trade in his drinking buddies and his drug friends for a new subculture of sporty people that were a little bit more positive, that he started an organization in Colorado called Phoenix Multisport. And if you're sober for 48 hours, he'll give you a bike, he'll take you climbing. And he's just a big-hearted guy that spends a lot of time helping other people. And, all kinds of drugs and alcohol problems, and, the problem of people using prescription drugs and all that stuff. It's just such a big problem, and he's dedicating his life to helping people that have had some pretty big stumbles.
I'm Claude Payon. I just came in from Georgia. So I'm here with Phoenix Multisport at Boulder Rock Club, so I'm looking forward to meeting some new people and getting to climb with them.
Let's find it.
When I was 9-10 months sober, I was kind of getting bored in my recovery, and what my friends were doing is getting high, and that's not fun for me anymore. So I started asking, what do people do for fun? I met somebody who was really into climbing and said, hey man, will you take me? As soon as I started climbing, I just fell in love with it. I started going to the gym 2-3 times a week. Being active is something that's just been extremely important to my recovery. I have a community, a sober community in Georgia, but we don't have anything that's like this. I feel like a lot of people could really benefit from Phoenix Multisport.
Is he going to hook you up with someone to climb with?
Yeah.
She'd be good. You should climb with him. We want to talk to you.
Okay, sure.
My name is Chelsea Daggett, and I'm a recovering alcoholic and a Phoenix team member.
All right, I'll do this yellow one right here.
Okay.
My memories of drinking are so dark that I don't want to go back to that. It is not a fun thing to be that girl at the liquor store at 9 o'clock in the morning, your hair all messed, makeup all over your face, if I even had makeup on, picking up, a couple shooters of vodka so that I can get through my day. And I'm okay. I'm okay not drinking.
Good job, Chelsea. You got it.
Meeting people with Phoenix, it's like you're instantly best friends. It's not awkward, it's not like, oh, hey, so what do you do for fun? It's like, hey, let's go climb.
How long have you been sober?
2 years and a month.
Sobriety rule.
It's just really empowering to be around so many people who are in recovery and doing so well, and it's a really good place to feel good about yourself.
When I was getting high and drinking, I wanted to feel good now, and climbing, it's the opposite of that. It's really hard work to feel really good. I fall and I look back at the problem and I have to decide what my next move is, how I have to position my body. I talk to somebody else, ask what their opinion is, ask how they did it. I know that I'm going to feel good and that this is going to be a great experience, but I'm going to have to work really hard to get there.
When I got sober, I kind of carried a lot of shame around. What I realized after a bunch of years is that there's nothing to be ashamed about. I'm actually a better person today because I'm sober, so we have all this stuff up here. You got the sober t-shirt, which you'll see some of our crew wearing. And just being proud of the fact you're sober just opens it up for other people that are struggling to kind of reach out and ask for help. The logo, the phoenix rising from the ashes, it's in mythology. The phoenix burned and was born again from its own ashes. And that's just the story of recovery. They have to kind of like go to the darkest place before they can realize that they need to make a change. And I really think we just need moments where we can have a real perspective on our life that allows us to see how far we've slipped. None of us as a kid say, I want to grow up and be a junkie. Our dreams kind of get stripped away from us through our use. And I think Phoenix is just about kind of giving those dreams back to people.
Okay, all right. So that's what I've been spending a lot of my time with, is hanging out with all these kind of people that I said have started a lot of charities and stuff, and it's been really, really fun. Any other questions? Oh, those are, actually a lot of those were stories that were just brought to me, a production company in Salt Lake called Cosmic Pictures, who's a really amazing place. They hire me as a director, and I direct, and then someone else edits it. And so I just get hired as a director on those. Yeah, but I've found some of the stories, but not that one, so, or not any of those. Anybody else? Those are about a week of really long days of just hanging out, and it's really interesting because of the equipment. I grew up studying at BYU, and there wasn't really a documentary program, and everything was very formal, and tripods, and lights, and people, and now with the cameras, with these little cameras, like you could just flip the lights up here and we could film you guys and it would look like it was lit like 20 years ago. You know, it was beautiful, and the equipment is so good and so easy that we just run around, you know, and shoot it. And, you know, 7 days is for a half-hour documentary, which is pretty good, you know. You can spend longer, I mean, but that is what we've been doing usually. In fact, okay, here, I'm going to give you one clip, one more, because I'm proud of this. We did a documentary about a lady who, she had a son that had had a stroke and had troubles, and so they were living in Florida, and she took her son to the dolphin thing, and she would get her son to play with the dolphin, and she would tell that it was a right-handed dolphin or a left-handed dolphin, and then the little boy had to feed the dolphin with his right hand that was the one that had trouble. And so he had eventually practiced and practiced so he could finally feed the dolphin with his hand that had, you know, the disability or whatever you call it. And then, he was supposed to die, this kid, but she kept working him with the dolphins, and then he ended up having a full recovery, graduated from college, has a job now, and he's had so many open heart surgeries and so many problems. And this was fun that I got to go hang out with this kid, and we got to go swimming together, and I just used a little GoPro camera, and we just got to play around with the dolphins, and this was a really fun job for me.
When you come close to these animals, you know you're close to something amazing and something extraordinary. Going down on the dock and seeing them was like, wow. When they come up close to you and look at you, it took my breath away. Dolphins are very different than any other experience that we relate to on an everyday basis. And because of that, it's like having a blank board and a place to begin. For the first time in our life, people weren't saying, tell me about Joe's surgery or what happened to your kid. Instead of talking about those things, I was talking about dolphins.
I wanted other people in my situation to feel exactly the way I felt. That there was hope, that there was future, that there might be something that would make their child laugh again.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or anything? But like I was going to say, as far as anybody interested in this, I really think there's tons of opportunities with the internet, and there's just so much video being made. And I said there's lots of opportunities for this, and whether it's TV, movies, or if you're going to go traditional filmmaking, even that's changing, and there's just a lot of opportunities. I'm going to play you one film. I've got a little project I'm working on in my spare time, and this is an old friend of mine that I've been friends with forever, but I never sat down with her for an entire day and let her listen to her tell me stories. And I think about this project, and just think about what you want to be when you grow up, how you want to make your money, what you want to do, what you want to spend your time with, and how you're going to execute it. This is a little piece I'm just doing for an online project, and this is a good friend who happens to be here.
Oh, I started drawing as a kid. Basically, I have horses to thank for being an artist because I was born wanting a horse. Then I started drawing horses, and back when we were kids, we'd put those brown paper covers on books to keep them clean for the school year, and mine were just covered with horse drawings. Eventually, people started telling me I was an artist, and I believed them. Just put my signature on this painting. It's really basically done. I started it in June, and it's now mid-October, late October. Peonies are some that my mom planted in the flower beds at this house about 10 years ago. But I really love those flowers. They're just my favorite thing to paint, and they come on in June every year. And I started this one, which is still not done, this one, which is still not done, and then another little guy here, which is also not done. I started all of these in the first, or within a few days of each other while the flowers were good. I can paint flowers from photographs, but I really, really prefer painting them from life. I remember being in 8th grade, and the high school counselor came over one day to talk to the 8th graders about what we were going to register for in high school. And I remember her asking me, well, do you have any idea what you want to be when you grow up? At that point, it was the first time I ever verbalized it, and I said, yes, I want to be an artist. The view is one from the end of a river trip on the San Juan River I did a year ago, September, with a bunch of girlfriends. And we went for 10 days on the San Juan. And this is at the takeout at Clay Hills, looking out towards the river. And we had this beautiful, beautiful sunset going on. This is Navajo Mountain. And by the time you take out on Clay Hills, you're on Lake Powell. And so the current was gone from the river. But I decided to put that in. I wanted to make it still look like a living river. What's really important to us is where we live and having time to play and making sure that our life doesn't become a drudge. And so as we've cultivated the different things we do that we make money with, we've just tried to make sure that it's stuff that feeds our soul and hopefully other people's too. But if we can make a living, doing painting with pottery and Joe river guiding and my salve, those are all things we feel really good about and we really like doing. And there's a lot of heart and soul in it, and I think they benefit and bless other people's lives. And that is work I can do. And we still have time to play. Big goofy guy. Yeah. Burns, go get on your bed. Ernie, he'll start bumping you, wanting you to scratch him.
I know you as the girl that draws women yourself.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that over the years. I don't paint myself nearly as much anymore. And, just my kids have grown and moved away, and I have other things, I paint my animals more because they're my kids now. I've slowed down. I don't produce as much as I used to, but I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it.
So there's the Benions have all been a part of my artistic journey. Is when I took this guy that's playing with his phone down here, telephone, is when I made a documentary about him that played at Sundance and kind of launched my career. Because I took a class from this guy and was interested in, I've always liked his artwork, but the way he blabbed his mouth, he was good. He's a perfect subject for a film because he likes to talk, and that's one of the things I like in films, is people that like to tell stories. So there's Joe and Lee. But any other questions or anything? We got a few more minutes. I can. Well, it's good you're in school. I'm excited that you're in school. It's a good time to be in school, and if I had to do it different, I would stay in school, and I would only do more international, maybe foreign exchange stuff. And I'm lucky that my kid at 16 just went to Costa Rica as an exchange student, so I'm really proud of her. And she didn't get it from me. She's a real good kid. So what was your question? Oh, that was just being silly. I started that project. It's called The Talking Fly. So YouTube, that's The Talking Fly. And I'm just trying to figure out who I am as an artist 20 years later, so you got to look that one up. Steve would. Oh, okay, thanks. She's asking about a silly video I did a couple weeks ago. But trying to think, anything else? Okay, I'm going to play another clip for you then. I just stumbled into this, something I did about 10 years ago, and, you know, Lance Armstrong, right? We could talk about Lance. This is interesting. Lance changed the world, didn't he? He made me dream about going to France, and it was one of the few times in my life. Everything is about who you know, what you know. You network, you email, you saying friends, you contact. And one time I threw an idea out into the world and said, I want to go to France and do a story about the people that stand on the side of the road at the Tour de France. First time in my life someone bought it, gave me a budget of $100,000 to go live in an RV for a month in France and film. And so here's something. I just found this last night. I was digging through stuff, and it's kind of fun. So we just ran around France doing documentaries about goofball fans. And I mean, this is what life's about, just being a goofball and having fun, I think. And these Basque people?
This is how it was like at the roadside of the Tour de France in the 50s, and look how much it has changed.
Sorry. I'm going to play you this one. That one's a good one too, but this one's...
I'm already at Alpe d'Huez, and it seems like here are mainly German and American cycling fans, but it was a lot different a few days ago in the Pyrenees, where it was basically dominated by Basque people. Basque. Inglés.
País Basque.
Basque, eh? Everybody in orange is Basque, eh?
Spain, no. Basque country.
Basque, but different, yeah, it's different,
Basque
yeah.
prisoner free now, yeah.
It's free.
Spain.
Not the Spain.
Not the Spain. We are Basque.
¿Qué pasó, amigos? Here we are with some serious Basque fans drinking beer.
Wait. Quiera y el que quiera ver jugar, de lo lindo, de lo lindo, de lo lindo. El que quiera y el que quiera ver jugar, que su abrazo será. Yo palmas con yo palmas.
That's your brother?
Yes.
Aaron is your brother? There's the first few riders. Armstrong is right there. Looks like Armstrong and Basso. There's Lance. Go Lance! Go Lance! Yeah. Die. There we go. Yeah. Oh, dude, that tire hit my foot. This tire just hit my foot. I was lucky, I was into the wind. The only thing crazy here after riding up this mountain is going straight down it, right after they arrived on the top. Walking through all these people and still riders coming up the hill. This is it for me. I'm out of here. See you guys.
Okay. So that's just some silliness that we did. It was really fun. So I'm going to look at my notes real quick and see if there's anything else I was going to tell you guys. That's it. I don't know. Anybody? Any other questions? Third question. Fourth question? Yeah, it's all good. It's good.
How do you approach somebody to get funding for something like that?
I don't know. I just pitched it to the right people, and somebody who knew somebody, and ended up getting that guy. And then we came up with the idea. Our pieces were called "Excuse My French," and that guy was from Switzerland, and he could slaughter every European language. Like he could speak like 20 words in every language, and so we called it "Excuse My French." And they thought it was a clever idea, and it was really big during the Lance days, where everything was about Lance Armstrong, and anything kind of to do with Lance was getting funded. So that's how we got it. You know.
So, how did you start your networking when it came to doing films? Did you just kind of make your own little films and show your friends?
Yeah, I think that when I made the film about Mr. Benyon I worked really hard at it, and it played at Sundance, and when it played at Sundance, people started to know. But a lot of the connections of people that I worked with were people I went to school with, and to this day, you know, most of the people that I work with, I can trace it back to 2 or 3 people that I went to school with, you know. So that whole networking thing is real important, you know. And you know, people got to see your work, though. You got to make work, and then you got to stay connected. So between those two things, trying to think if I have any other really short commercials to show you. Okay, wait. I'm going to give you one more France thing, because this is a good goodbye, okay? This is the best. And if you need to walk out during it, it's good. But the end is really good. But if you have to go, keyword is Pamela Anderson, okay? Wait, is it playing? It's as good as that, I'm promising you.
This is how it was like at the roadside of the Tour de France in the 50s, and look how much it has changed. The table turns into a suitcase, and everything fits in there, and off they go to the next stage. Look at this. Mint condition, a Renault from 1959. Très beau, huh? Yermat. What does it mean? Reis. Reis. Reis? Reis? Yermat. Yeah, Yermat. Yermat. I drink to that. Bonjour. Bonjour. À quelle heure les gars, les compétitions arrivent ici?
Dans un quart d'heure.
Ah, 1 hour.
Une demi-heure. Une demi-heure.
Une demi-heure.
Une demi-heure,
Half
oui.
an hour. You live here?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
That you live here always, or you're on vacation?
No, only during the holidays.
Where are you from?
Lille.
Lille, all right. You have the perfect house then, right on the course of the Tour de France.
Oui, je vais faire du vélo tout à l'heure.
Alright, I just asked them who's going to win today, and they said they had no idea who's in the race, but it all looks like fun, they said.
Vous faites un reportage?
Ah, pour télévision en Amérique.
En Amérique?
Yeah, you have a nice back.
Oh,
maybe we can, I mean, Baywatch. Maybe we can get you a part in Baywatch. You could be the new lifeguard.
Ah si, moi je peux. Regarde. Some people say.
You and Pamela Anderson. Doing that right here.
The wave. And so with the put up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The wave. You know? I love America. I support Lance Armstrong and viva Pamela Anderson.
Viva Pamela Anderson. Yeah. Too bad she's in racing, huh?
I would like to merci and thank you to all the Belgium folks, Nathan.
You heard it right here. Excuse my French. I gotta go. This is too much, even for me.
Excuse my French. I will be ready back.
Bye bye.
Ciao. Ciao ragazza. Io non rica, puet.
All right. So, there's just a lot of fun to be had. With a camera in your hand, sometimes everybody will just let you come play with them, and so that's been a lot of fun. And so, although I have the serious work with the charity stuff, I also get to do a lot of goofy stuff like the behind-the-scenes stuff and that goofy stuff. And my YouTube channel now is serious stuff like stuff with Lee talking about her life, and then also just goofiness. So, but any final questions? And we're about done, I guess, huh? All right. Well, good luck, folks.